Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Weekend Habit. This is hashtag Guru Chat. All my friends are gone now, but we are so happy that you're all here watching. I am Liza. Please tweet me at the Requisos. And this
Yes,
is Mary.
I'm back. Sorry, I had to reconnect my Periscope. It disconnected me. So, anyway, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Weekend Habit hashtag Guru Chat. And let me just go live on Twitter as well. There you go. We are live on Twitter. And I'd like to just welcome everybody this weekend. It's still kind of a really sleepy weekend for me. I'm trying to make sure that this weekend is all for resting. But I'm not sure if it's gonna be possible. Hi, Laffy. So
Hi, sorry. Had to switch devices.
yes. So you're not on your iPad anymore.
Yeah, there was a lag between the
I see.
video. Yep.
Okay, so everybody, for those people who have not watched the Weekend Habit before, today we are joined by our co-host, like our weekly co-host. We missed you guys. Lisa and Liza were
Yeah.
missing last week, so we have Lisa at the Requisos on Twitter. We have Lisa at Rizza Piccio and Alfonso at Teacher Forest there. So if you're on Twitter, please go ahead and follow us, guys, and also follow hashtag GuruChat for some tips on how to better engage your students. All right, so let's start. Today, our topic is online lesson design. And I'm excited si Lisa. I know.
Halata ba?
I know. This was supposed to be our topic last week. I had to exchange it for this week because I know that this was
I
something that's
protested.
you
Yeah.
protested and you were heard. There
So
you go.
in the
So
end, Mary made the topic all about me. An interview with Laughly.
I know last week we talked about managing change in schools, and as you all know, this is really quite important right now. And we do have our first our introductory question here, and our introductory question is quite controversial. Yesterday there was an outage for Google Meet, as you
Yeah.
all know. Right. I don't know if you
Mhm.
were in the middle of your meeting when this happened. So what were you doing, guys? What did you do when Google had an outage yesterday?
I was on the way to Chandesitas to accompany my wife to the grocery and the bank run. So no, did not experience anything at all.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Good for
Yep.
you because yesterday when this happened, I was about to celebrate and then I said, "Yay, TGIF." And then the call started coming in. So the chat started coming in, the calls started coming in, asking me what is happening. Like my
Right,
client
right.
started calling me, so I said, I thought it's time to relax.
Yes. No, no, not at all.
How about you, Riza?
Yeah.
What were you doing
Oh, I was
yesterday?
in the middle of a class.
Oh no!
I was having my first class yesterday, and we were really discussing already the performance task of the students, the steps on how to accomplish them or what to do. And then I
Uh-huh.
suddenly got cut off.
Oh,
And I can't reach any of them. I can
yeah.
receive messages in the Hangouts, but I
Mhm.
can't send in the group Hangout. So I have to send a message to my class president and then instruct, okay, this is my message to the whole class. Please send
Mhm.
it over there because my message is not coming in. I All their messages are like, please wait for Miss Risa. Be calm. It's not working.
It's nice that
so,
they're actually
so
doing that. It's nice
I'm
they're doing that to each
proud.
other, right?
I'm proud that they're saying, let's wait patiently. You know, Miss Risa will announce something when Google Classroom comes back or when Gmeet comes back. So like for the whole 10 minutes, I was really looking for a way to give them a message that I am reading the messages, but it's just that
Mhm.
I cannot reply.
Right.
So first thing
Right.
I did, I checked my internet. It's working, but I called my coordinator and my VP for operations to announce to my
Mm-hmm.
class, because they're part of my Google Classroom, to announce
Mm-hmm.
to my class to just go back to their activities posted, do the
Mm-hmm.
async while waiting for Google Classroom and Google Apps to come back. And so everyone was like, why am I cut? All my devices are logged out. Something. All of the teachers got logged out yesterday from our school.
Yeah, I
So
know.
everyone really sort of
Panicked a little bit.
panicked for the
Yeah.
first 2 minutes, and then when they realized that it will not go back yet, they started saying, "Okay, let's just do our task in this subject and in this subject." So
Yeah.
after after that, when I was able to go back and connect like 10 minutes remaining of our time,
Mm-hmm.
I commended the class because they were really patiently waiting and giving each other encouragement to just, to just do the task assigned of them. So
Wow.
that made
Yeah,
them
that's nice.
realize that
Good
really
job.
Wow.
online learning can
Whew.
have its challenges, and it can just, you can just be
Mm-hmm.
disconnected like in a
Yep.
snap. So
That is true. That is so true. I mean, I think that also kind of drives home the fact that when you design your lessons for contingency
yes,
as well. Like you have to have a
yes.
contingency for, like I used to have a contingency when
There's
I'm
a
training. By the way,
disclaimer.
yeah, I know. I'd like to say hello to. Let me just remove this banner
Fonts.
because
Hi,
it's
Fonts.
right. Hello,
Hi,
Fons.
Fawn.
Hi, Fons.
iPhones.
And thank you for joining us this week. There, we hope to have you with us next week. Hopefully, I really like having you in the weekend habit the last time. So, yeah. So, like I said earlier, we do have to have contingencies. I remember though that when I started training G Suite, Google Apps pa before, that I started training it 2010. So you can just imagine there was almost always a lag in internet access in 2010 whenever I'm training. So I had my online and this was a face-to-face training, but I still had to prepare, and I had my offline material ready. Like all of my offline videos and my offline tutorials were all there just in case the demo just stops because I needed internet for the demo. If it stops, I have my video, to to send out there. So I think for today we are going to be not really discussing purely on the technicalities of lesson design, but really as it relates to remote learning now and how it has changed the way that we do teaching. Font is saying yes, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst when you do
That's
online
true.
teaching. That is
Yeah.
so
That's
true.
what's happening right now. Remember, or right, there's this announcement from PLDT that they're going to be doing this whole um,
Maintenance thing.
rerouting, yeah, maintenance
Yes.
thing, and suddenly we're now with the hashtag walang pasok is
Yeah.
now alive and all. So suddenly, whoops,
I am
we're
actually quite nervous about what's going to happen, not just because of the PLDT thing, but because of classes starting for Department of Education October 5th. Because
Mhm.
Yes.
when they start, it's not just going to be purely asynchronous, it's not going to be purely offline. They're also going to
Mhm.
be online, especially for some of the ICT schools that DepEd has. I do
Yeah.
know that some of them will probably be using Google Classroom, and that's going to add more to the existing load that not just Google, but all the other technology companies have there. So I have my first question here, which is, let me see. There, my first question is, what factors are the most important to you when planning your remote learning lessons? Yeah.
A lot.
Take it away, Lisa. since this,
Lisa,
we'd like to welcome you
Lisa,
back to the real world to the online
Here is
world
the
of teaching.
by the way, is not in the Philippines right now. So,
yes,
Yeah.
I am
Lisa,
now in Dhaka, Bangladesh, with crazy construction going outside. But but I'm glad to be back. Glad to be back here at the Weekend Habit with you
We're happy,
guys and go.
Yeah.
we're happy
Yes.
that you got there safely.
Yeah,
Um,
it was crazy. At the airport, there were no people.
Hmm.
oh my
People at
goodness.
first
Uh,
time. First time.
First time
So
that
you
there are
had
no
a
people.
breeze. You traveled breezily because there's no people. No queuing.
Yeah. No people at all. But anyway, for question one, as I have been learning how to do it again online, because I've done it before, but then we've kind of changed it up so that we can have more synchronous lessons, more live lessons than just putting videos on our online learning platform. So
Mhm.
there's a learning curve when it
Mhm.
came to
Yes.
doing live lessons with the children.
Mhm.
And I think it's just try to keep it simple. I think
Mhm.
when you're planning, as much as possible, the less buttons we press, the much
The better.
much better it is. I teach younger children. I teach grade one.
Mhm.
So the simpler that I can make it, like getting my point across, the better.
Yeah,
That's that is
definitely.
something that I think is one of the most important when you're planning.
It's really good. Fons is saying that accessibility tools and grace, those are the most those are the top three for him. Yeah, I do understand. Like accessibility for me is also quite important because I like to design that everybody has a accessibility issue. I designed thinking of that people are gonna have this accessibility issues. So either they might have internet lag or they might have a problem with hearing something. So we just need to make sure that we have all of those tools available. It's a good thing that most of these tools that we have right now already have them in place, right? So, by the way, I'd like to welcome a new person here on our Guru chat. Hello, Mr. Jose Filosofo. Good morning.
Good
Good morning,
Hello.
sir,
Good
morning.
morning.
and welcome to Guru chat. So, please go ahead and give us your answers for what is the most important thing for you in planning your remote learning. How about you, Riza?
Okay, since mine is about moving, the big factor is really the space because
Uh-huh.
pandemic right now, the kids are not allowed to go out. So there are kids who's living in a condo. There are kids who's sharing house or sharing their
Mhm.
place with their family. So
Mhm.
they really have cramped spaces, and there are some who has a lot of space and a garden to move around. So those are
Mhm.
the one factor. That's one factor that's really I'm looking into when I'm planning if they have a space, and if they
Mhm.
don't have, then they I put in the plan that this one is the modified version. Should there be no space at home, and
Oh,
also
nice.
there
Nice.
simple activities the better. So
Yeah.
like we had a badminton sport for term one, but since it's a dual sport and you need someone to play it with, and of course there's some of the they don't some might have siblings, others don't have, so we just practice the skill but we don't learn that throwing the shuttlecock back and forth with another person. So that's the kind of factor that instead of teaching a dual sport, you just teach the skill just in case, in preparation when we go face to face, or in the
Hmm.
future when they have a chance to play badminton with a friend or another
Mhm.
family member, then they have the skill. But
Mhm.
generally, teaching the sport as it is not possible right now. So most
Mhm.
of them in their reflection would always say, I wish that we could play together already. I wish things like that. And
Yeah.
so, it breaks my heart that they missed uh, being active, but they are limited because of the situation that we are right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? Now that you mention it, when you said that you were planning for whatever their situation is, since I teach technology, another important thing for me is to design based on their skill level.
That's true.
So I usually have, since I teach tech to teachers, there's always the beginner tasks, the intermediate, and the advanced tasks, so that I can address, and at whatever level they are, they'll be able to relate or at least be challenged with the lessons, because I don't want them to get bored also, diba? How
Mhm.
about you, Nafi? What's the most important to you?
Well, I guess just have many, many, many contingencies. I teach history, so it it's still it's still easy for me to teach it because there's just a lot of resources. The documentaries have been really helpful, and I guess what I've done so far is just really scale back the lesson. So instead of like focusing on discussion, I mean like lectures, I just have students read and then we spend the relatively short time discussing. So it's nice to
Mhm.
like present pictures and all of those things because it's easier now. But
Yeah.
I guess one factor really is what's the most important aspect or element of your lesson that you want your students to know, and I think that's what we have to really consider,
Mhm.
because content will just be there. You can read that all the time, and you know. Mhm.
Right. That's true.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about lesson design now. I think that a lot of teachers were a little displaced about
Yeah.
teaching remotely, because they do get their. And I'm gonna go back to TPAC on this, on the model. I
Mm-hmm.
know we've spoken about summer before,
Mm-hmm.
but from the side of the teachers who are a little bit displaced about how to do this and how to adjust, just
Yeah.
remember, you do know your content. You are the
Yes.
you know your content.
Content expert.
You're the content expert. You have to ground yourself with that knowledge that you are the content expert here, and you know your pedagogy, if that is also sound. You just have to
Hmm.
supplement that
The
with the
technology.
tools. Yeah, we just have to supplement that with the tools. Yun lang talaga. That's why sabi nga ni Riza, technological fluency is really important.
Yes, that's
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
true.
There,
We
it's
really need.
I have my Q2 now, which is how do you account for students? And I think we've just answered some of this
Yes.
in our previous question also, because some students have poor to no internet access. Or is that even an issue in your school?
Not in our
Um,
school.
No.
Not so much, but there are
Yeah.
some like around 5 to 10 students, but then they still could get to submit or upload their task. It's just that, of course, you have to give time for them to submit it,
Yeah.
even
Right.
if it's late or no deadlines at all. No deadlines at
Mhm.
all, because yes, accessibility, you cannot I always say that in my class, it's not your fault and it's not my fault if our internet is if it's laggy or you can't
Mhm.
upload it. You just have to be patient. I just tell them to they just need to be patient at all, because
Yeah.
who do you blame or who do you ask to about your internet connection? There's
Right.
none
Mm-hmm.
except your provider. I mean,
Right.
Mhm.
if you have this kind of provider. So yesterday we were talking about that. Oh, Miss Riza, you got cut off. Is your connection PLDT? They told me because it was PLDT who said that they would be doing the maintenance. I told them no, it's just that my provider is really not that stable. So I told them,
Mm.
I'm honest about them. At the start of class, I would tell them, just in case I get disconnected, this is what to do right away, and then I'll come back. So
Yeah.
what I do in my class, I have the iPad and the laptop connected both to Gmeet, so that if the laptop gets disconnected, I just turn on the audio of the iPad and I can talk to them right away, because there are some kids who really get agitated when they
Right.
when
Mhm.
I get cut off right away. So where's
Yeah.
Miss
Mm.
Risa?
They get
Somewhere like
anxiety.
that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How about
that's true.
how about you, Lisa? Do you have issues with some of the students not having
There,
internet?
well, there are times when across the country, actually, there are some days wherein the internet access is very poor.
Mm-hmm.
So, like for example, where we are right now, like I said earlier, there's a construction right outside, and there are
Mm-mm.
times when the internet gets cut off.
Mm-mm.
So, like there's a sudden blackout
Mm-mm.
or a drop in the internet. And so, what we do is, as much as possible, for our students, we record our instruction time,
Mm-hmm.
and then if and when they need it, it's
Mm-hmm.
there. If they can just ask for it, and as
Mm-hmm.
well as what Riza said, always accommodate. So
Yes.
having adjusting the deadline,
Yep.
don't worry about it. You can, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of assurances that you can
Yes,
work on
that's
it
true, Lisa.
when you have internet. So the things that you will never consider before a year
Mm-hmm.
ago.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
like you
So,
will want them to finish their work in the classroom, but
Yeah.
because now we're all at home, then all the possible accommodations that we can give, we give.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
That's
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 true.
true.
how we allow our students to adjust as well, and remove that stress
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
from them
From
and
them.
from you as well. Like
From
the
you.
the feeling of, like, oh, you have to finish it, but there's, again, like what Riza said, there is nothing you can do. It is
Mm-hmm.
completely
That's true.
out of your hands. So, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'd like to just to give a shout out to Pilar as well. Hello,
Hi,
Pilar.
Hello,
Pilar.
Um,
Pilar.
Pilar was asleep when the outage yesterday happened, so there was no issue for her. But she said that I tried to think of something engaging with and collaborate individual work possibilities, whether synchronous or asynchronous. I'm failing at being engaging. LOL. So,
Don't worry, Pilar. It's not just you. Me also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
Sometimes
this,
when you look at your students on camera and they have sleepy eyes, you're like, oh, am I doing this
Yes.
correctly?
Right, right.
Am I boring them? So
That's
I just
how
make
true, especially in PE, Laffy.
Yeah, I just make fun of myself. Yeah, I know, guys, that history is the most boring subject in the world. It's like that, you can sleep and all. They're like, no, 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 it's not. It's not. Woo.
Right. So, Phil is joining us today. Hello. I think, Phil Saraspe, are you the Jose Philosopher? Because I don't know if you are the same, but Phil Saraspe has joined us, and he said when planning for remote learning, and this is for his question one actually. He said I check on the capability of the device and internet connection. Learning
Mhm.
activities have to be compatible. Consider
Yeah.
skills also and add supplemental activities to learn relevant skills before producing output there.
Mm.
I wish that we could have some insight on our public school teachers, but I guess
Yeah.
um, we will find out by next week what's
Yep.
gonna
By
On
happen.
Right.
Teachers' Day. We'll find
Yeah,
out on Teachers' Day.
we'll find out
Public
more
school
about that.
teachers will be teaching on Teachers' Day.
I
Yes,
think
that's
because
true.
most of the public teachers are really into modules.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
I think their lessons are planned out for them,
Mm-hmm.
and they just need to give out the modules and, you know, hope that the students will be able to accomplish them asynchronously.
Yeah.
Because I've been reading, I have a friend who's from public school. Most of my
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
high school and I know college classmates in education, they're in public school. And if I read our group chat, they would always say, "Oh, I'm not yet done printing all my modules," things like that.
Mm.
So I think I'm not sure if this is true to all, but I think most of them right now is into module printing to accommodate students and to
Mm-hmm.
give access to students who do not have a connection, internet connection.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah. So, I still feel though that there is a case to be made for blended learning for public schools, and I know that even for I was a product of the public school system,
Mm-hmm.
and I would think that that was a long time ago, of course. And if it was that around that time, I would understand this whole module thing. But if you're looking at how many years from that period, like more than 20
Yes.
years from that time, why are we still stuck on paper? So that's something that needs to be changed, I guess. Or at least, choose the schools that are already capable of doing it, diba?
Yes,
There.
yes. I mean,
So,
the internet connection should not be a reason not to go into blended, but
yeah.
it should, support. Like everyone is in Facebook. Like maybe
Mm-mm.
some of the population is not into Facebook because they can't really
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
afford it. But those who have Facebook, then use Facebook for learning, and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
it's possible. I think the way you use it that's going to
There is
support
Facebook for
learning.
education. Yeah, there is Facebook for
Yes.
education actually.
Oh,
But the thing is, like some schools are actually wary as well
yeah.
of privacy,
Yes,
and
privacy.
and
Plus,
right
right
now
now, Facebook isn't in a good place, right?
it's not in a good place when it comes to
Not in a
privacy.
good place.
Yeah.
Yes.
But when it comes to the data connection or the internet connection here in the Philippines, you notice that
Facebook. Yeah.
the promos of, say, Globe as well as Smart already accommodates for e-learning. So it
Mm-hmm.
already
Yes.
they've added
They have the
more data,
student.
for
Mm-hmm.
students, more data for accessing their Google Classroom. For example, they already have that specific data plan.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that's going to continue, and they should add more accessibility for our students. Ayan.
Mm-hmm.
How about for Q3, we have what has changed in your expectations for your students? Like uniform, are they required now that you're
No.
sorry, this
No,
is
Still the
no.
pajama
sorry for the
days.
spelling error, walang you. Now that you're designing for remote
No.
learning.
Yeah. The only expectation really is that I know that there's this huge argument about this on Twitter, like should you have your students turn on the cameras or not?
Camera.
But
Right.
yeah, and I know that for a lot of privacy people, like, no, you shouldn't be exposing our students to that. It should not be an issue. I think it should be like an expectation that students should turn on their cameras, because it's hard to talk or in class if you just see like the avatars of your students. You don't know if you're engaged, if they're there or they're engaged
Yes.
enough. And at
Right.
least that way, if you can see that, oh, okay, they're getting a bit bored, so time to bring out the breakout room so that they can chat with one another and discuss, right?
Mhm.
That's
So
true.
I think it's just an issue that was blown out of proportion, because remember, as teachers, we don't really care about what your room looks like,
Mhm.
I guess, and that should be a clear expectation that turn on your cameras. Let's see each other. Let's not be
Yes.
black spaces on our screen.
That's true.
Has anything changed on time to task? Like how fast they can complete tasks?
Oh,
Oh,
well,
no.
no, no. It's still, they'll do it the night before. And with Google Classroom, now I can see, oh, okay, somebody's submitting at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. So
Yes.
nothing has changed. It's still the same student,
Yeah. Students
still
still
the
cram.
same. Yeah, students still
Students
cram.
still cram.
Hmm.
That's true. That's
Even if you
true.
give the deadline like 2 weeks ahead, you can keep on checking their work. Nothing's moving. Last edit was the day
Yes.
you posted, and
Uh,
then
That's true, Laffy. We last week we were thinking about that because we had to follow up our kids, and we thought of they have to be taught how to organize their things, how to organize
Mhm.
their tasks, because some students really do not have that skill,
Yeah.
to organize
Yeah,
You
their
have to teach it.
their
Yes.
time and
Yeah.
make a
executive
schedule.
function.
And because right now they're at home, so we don't know. Some students have the assistance of their parents, like really into it, while some were into the extremes, like wow, like for a term you did not submit one singular task, and now you have to cram because the term is ending. So I think that's another part of the remote learning, that the students, even if it's there in the instruction, it's because the environment is different, so their thinking, it's also different. Like they only remember it if you tell them and if
Mm-hmm.
they don't see it, they don't
Mhm.
do it. So,
Yeah.
and because also I think it matters that they have to set up their emails in such a way that they receive the important ones, because some of my students would send a screenshot of their email, and I'll see a lot of announcements from the Google Classroom that the important ones are being um, piled up into the bottom part of their email, that they would still ask me, Miss, what do I have to do? And then I would say, I've emailed you already about this particular task. Can you please
Yeah.
search my name in your email, and then that will pop out. So things
Yeah.
like that. Although the kids are really, I know they are really trying their best to cope with this situation, but it's just too much if you have 13 subjects and you'll be given a lot of tasks. So, first 3 weeks, I gave out two asynchronous and one sync activity, and that was too much already for them.
Right.
Mhm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
towards the end of sixth, seventh, eighth week, I just do one in the async and one in synchronous, and then lots of movement. I noticed because if they're not moving, they're really sleepy and lax. And they'll see it in their faces. There's no excitement, there's
Mm-hmm.
no nothing. It's just like they're just sitting down, and they don't even want to interact if they're not moving. So it
Yeah.
it saddens me really that PE is not the same as anything anymore. I mean,
Mhm.
it's a challenge to do PE in uh, the remote learning. So more of games. So the kids have lot of games na lang, instead of just how to do this, how to do that. So no, of course we do not want to sacrifice the correct form to avoid injury. But
Mhm.
other than that, they just really want to have fun already.
Mhm.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's a
I
great
can
thing.
see here that for Phil, he said teaching, research, and media and information literacy with remote learning. I'm expecting that my students will be more abreast with responsible ICT tools and media use. With a boost in tech integration, I'm expecting better learner outcomes. So I think I'm just going to give a caveat here again on the learner outcomes versus
Mm.
usage of tech tools, that it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't necessarily equate because
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
I do teach technology, but I'm a firm believer of
Low
not
tech.
I yes, I am a firm believer of not depending too much on it when when it comes to your learner outcomes. It should not be dependent on the tools at all because, like what was shown yesterday, the tools might fail us at any moment. Diba?
Yes, at any moment.
Yeah,
That's
it
true.
might fail us. And then what? Where are you left with? So I think for me, what has changed, nothing much. I think the changes now will be the output. I actually expect more.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Before, because I see them and I'm there to assist them in person, it's different. But my expectations now for the teachers that I teach is that they should be a lot more in the class, especially
Mm-hmm.
inside the activities. So I design all the activities that we have in such a way that I should be able to see participation for everybody. And you should be able to see like who's not participating. And I don't want to shame anybody. And that's not been my practice. But I do like
Yes.
to make sure that the activities are engaging enough, that they will be encouraged to participate, even the shy ones. Because they can see the other teachers are participating, even the shy teachers, they would also participate. Ayan. So we've got our Q for today, which is what methods or models have worked for you when you're designing your lessons. Ayan na, Lisa.
Go, Liza!
Lisa.
Go!
Go, Lisa.
Oh no, Lisa. This is your question.
No, I think it's always what do you want the kids to learn at the end of your lesson?
Yes.
It's always zeroing in on removing all the other noisy stuff that you.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
like what you've been advocating, Mary.
Mm-mm.
It's not about
With the
the
worksheet.
proficiency of using the techniques.
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
It's
Yes.
about how I need to know how much you understand. I need to know
Yes.
how much you still need to do, or I still need to teach you. I need to
Mm-mm.
understand where are you confused? Where is your level of understanding? So it's always
Mm-mm.
at the back of my mind. I always have that, but at the same time, it's it's a push and pull factor, really.
Yeah.
So
Mm-mm.
reviewing, do I need to do this again? And
Yes.
Yes.
I find personally, I find because we do inquiry based learning in our school,
Mm-mm.
and
Mm-mm.
you can never plan a whole week with
No.
inquiry based learning.
Nope.
Never. Uh,
Mm-mm.
It's a day
not
by day thing.
yeah, it is. It is, and it's a lot of reflection. A lot of at the end of the day, what am I going to do tomorrow? What are we going to do tomorrow?
Yes.
I've noticed that as well with online teaching. It is exactly the same. I
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
as much as you want to plan the whole week, because there is a day wherein no, we weren't able to achieve what we needed to achieve. So like last week I did a lesson. It was horrible. It was like
Mm-mm.
an epic fail. So I need to redo that. Like I need to find another way of.
Mm-mm.
I think that's also another thing that teachers must not be afraid to admit.
Mm-mm.
Like
Yes.
the lesson is so bad.
Yes.
So like yeah, move on. Find another way to do that. It didn't
Feel
work. It's okay. So I'm talking to myself, by the way.
Don't worry, Lisa. I do that all the time. I
Yeah.
do that all the time.
Yeah. So I think it's that, like a personal a personal reflection on that wasn't effective. Let's do it in a
Yeah.
different way.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
that's true.
it's that constant reflection, really. It
Mm-mm.
really helps.
Fail fast and fail forward talaga, no? Like, that's
Yeah,
why
Yes.
I still remember when we did that design thinking. It was a challenge when we did the design thinking topics.
right.
But when you really think about it, that's what we're doing right now. We're actually
Yeah.
designing lessons almost every day. We have to change something. I looked at the Hi Pilar. Thank you so much for joining us from YouTube. Pilar is saying, I agree. The other day, my Wi Fi connection fell. I had nothing prepared to make up for that class. I made a video, but in my cell data, it took way too long to upload.
Oh
So,
no.
and then you can just rely on the fact that you'll be able to explain it in person, and day by day should be the way the school requires it. However, my school wants 2 weeks ahead. I just be a little bit more flexible with your lesson plans. Like, just allow for, like I said a while ago, allow for these contingencies. We have.
Visitor.
I really like that.
Excuse me.
I'm
I'm
thinking,
just going
what
to
was
pass.
that?
My ugly cat.
A special appearance.
Yeah. Always a cameo.
Yeah. Well, for you, Laffy, what do you have like a specific model that you kind of follow now, or
uh, well, well, I follow I follow Liza, which is inquiry based learning, and and that's really the only model that I've used so far. And it has worked. It has worked effectively over the past few years, and I've really gone through it, or I've really used it every now and then because I feel so comfortable with it, and it's something that the school advocates for. So, but I guess in terms of like making those adjustments and planning. Really, like what Liza said, just remove all the noise and
That's
focus
true.
on less is more. I guess we're so used to being to be to talk and to discuss amongst our students, but now it's really this is the perfect time to get them to do the discussions, and then you could just ask the questions every now and then to nudge them along the way, because a lot of the things that are happening right now can be done well, a lot of the things that we used to do inside the classroom can be done offline. They have a lot of time on their hands, especially if you like have a half day class only. So perfect opportunity really for them to learn independently.
I'm actually interested in
Yes.
what Fons is saying. He said our curriculum writers have created a day by day and week by week plan for the first
For
six
the first
weeks
six
of
weeks.
classes. What I'm interested in is it being followed? Like
Yes.
because that is normally what the when you have a curriculum writer in the school, because I know some schools that I handle right now that have some content designers. Um,
Yes.
and not everything is actually followed. Like you said, Lavi and Lisa and Riza, it has to change
Mm-hmm.
based on what happened on your own experience. I just hope that once what I'm wondering about, I guess, is does the feedback of the teachers get go back to your curriculum writers?
Mm-hmm.
Because
It's a good question.
if the
That's a
curriculum
good
writers
question.
are not on the ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They're not on ground
That's
zero.
true.
So,
That's true. Yes.
and then the teachers try and do this plan, right? And then does it filter back? And then do they iterate? That's, I guess, my question there.
Yeah.
How do
Yes.
they iterate there? So, Font is saying, how's it going, my friend, to Pilar there. And Pilar is saying, still alive. Still alive is a win, yes.
Yes. Still alive
In
is
the
a win.
age of the pandemic, when you're alive, well, and healthy, it's always a win.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
I've
Being
got
able to
my
be with your students.
I've got my fifth question right here, and let me just push it onto the screen. How do you ensure communication and connection with your students to support them? Because there are like the reason why I'm asking this is because in lesson design, we did not really take into account too much of their social and mental well
Yeah.
being. But I guess
Mm-hmm.
with the stress and the meeting fatigue and all of that happening now, how do you ensure communication and connection with the students to support them within your
Well,
lesson design?
yeah. I set up my own group chat. Um, we've been using Telegram for quite some time already, and the beauty about Telegram is that my number isn't shared with the students, so
Mhm.
and their number isn't shared with me either. So we have that group chat that we talk about those issues and challenges encountered in class, and then it's also a great way to like listen in on their feedback, like, oh, this lesson was challenging because I learned this and that. So it gives me an opportunity to think about, okay, before I proceed to the next activity, I might as well have this time to discuss and have a review, and also open the floor.
Mhm.
Another way is through Google Jamboard. Like I have just before I send out my asynchronous work to the students, I always set up a Jamboard for them. Like write down questions here that you encountered while reading your the module or some of the articles that you've encountered, so that we can answer it in class.
Mhm.
Mhm. So that's
Yeah.
one way we could support students
Yes.
in, especially since we don't see them physically. It's
Yes.
harder really to
That's true. I use the
Actually.
same. I don't use Telegram, but I do use Google Chat.
hmm
For those of you who are still using Google Hangouts, it's time to move, guys, because Hangout is
Google
going
Chat.
away. So just move to Google Chat if you're on G Suite. I understand that if you're on Gmail, that you won't be able to access Google Chat and the rooms unless you are invited to the room. However,
Yeah.
if you're on G Suite, then yes, you can create rooms inside Google Chat, and inside the rooms you can create conversations inside the rooms, and that's what I've been using both to support trainings, both to support the sessions and the teachers that I've trained. So just in case they have more questions, they can just post those questions as individual conversations inside the room. Yeah, and I like that it actually makes it more organized for me. Like, if this is the room for this particular school, they just have this one room for each of the sections and the trainings that I've been supporting. It's actually easier to track it. It also provides ongoing communication, like what Laffy was saying earlier. Provides ongoing communication, and then you find out if they need more help, and what help do they need there.
Yes.
And I think the last one is that I can always jump into a Google Meet call with them because
Right.
it is integrated. I can just put in. I actually put in one Google Meet that I pin in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell them that, hey, I have a scheduled, like an office hour. I'm there
Mm-hmm.
for an hour or 30 minutes. And if you anybody who wants to jump in, they're free to jump in to the meet and ask questions. So it's like you open your faculty door.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Oh,
it's like opening your faculty door and saying, "Hey guys, I'm free. I'm free to talk. Just
Right.
to talk." Yeah.
Yeah, we have
Right.
that also since
Mhm.
our classes are only from 8:30 to 12:15. The
Mhm.
afternoons are spent asynchronously, but then we have
yes.
like for example, if I have classes every Monday and Wednesday, there's a block for me in the afternoon specifically for students to consult with me, and I have to be on call during that block, and I sometimes extend it 30 minutes before and after just to make
Make
sure that
sure.
if there are a lot, yeah.
Yes.
So I
Mhm.
feel like a doctor where consulting hours are from
Yes. We have
blank to blank.
consultation hours as well in my
That's
school.
Yeah.
good.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
There. There. That's good. How about you, Lisa? Do you have anything that you're doing right now? Well, for grade one students, what is the usual communication mode, or is it mostly for parents?
No,
seesaw.
yes. So it is, yes, I use Seesaw because I am able to open a private chat with the parents.
Yes.
I always tell the children, actually. I always tell the kids that, oh, hey, like your parents, they can ask me questions. You say, hi, I'm live.
Hi.
Yeah. So I always tell, yeah, that's the other Requiso. So I always tell the kids, oh, hey guys, if you have a question, please tell your mom or your dad to send me a message on Seesaw. So
Mhm.
at the end of the lesson, I always say, hey, if you have a question, Miss
Yes.
Lisa is here. So
Yeah.
always reminding them that
You're
communication
there.
line is always
Yeah.
open. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah,
Same with
I
me,
guess as
Liza.
teachers, you don't have much to do but to support, no, just to make
yeah.
sure that they know that you're
Yes,
there.
exactly.
Every Google Classroom post, should you have any clarification or questions,
Yes,
send me a message in Hangout, Seesaw, or
Yeah.
email. So those are
Yeah.
the
right,
things. And if they have questions, I just tell them, I will answer you in the morning until this hour. If you send me a message at 8 p.m. onwards, I'm not already online. I just tell them
right,
Yeah.
like that so that
Mhm.
they don't feel that how come Miss Risa is not answering? I sent a message.
right,
So I tell
right.
them that 7 p.m. onwards, they might not get a response from me. But if they
Mhm.
Yeah.
send email, if I get it from the email, it's good that you can schedule send the next day. So
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
Right,
followed what you said, Mary. If I get an email, I should archive it, delete it, or reply right away. So I cleaned up
Yeah.
my
Handle
yes,
it
I
one
email
did.
time.
from
Oh.
6,000 down to
Yes, I have
16.
so many now on tasks. Thank
Yeah.
you, Mary. Well, actually, not really thank you, Mary, but
Yeah,
not
but
really,
because
but
of that, I
okay.
was forced to really clean.
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
does really help you, like
I
kind of like,
really hate I really hate the
Notifications.
notifications. If there's like a
yeah,
red icon on my mail app. I'm like, nope, you have to be red. And then I make sure to clean out my inbox every now and then. Like
Yes.
right
Yeah.
now,
That's true.
I
And
keep
then
my
I
in if my
unsubscribe.
inbox goes to like 200 mail messages, I start deleting to keep it down to 100.
I see.
So
Mm.
Yes, yes.
yeah,
That's
Yeah,
I
true.
we
really
have to have.
can't stand a long
I
inbox.
guess you know what. Sometimes I'm thinking maybe I should just do a workshop called Inbox Zero Superhero because it's
Yeah,
Yes,
uh,
I like the title.
yeah,
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 you should.
Inbox Zero
I
Superhero.
when I see my when I see the screens of my fellow teachers, like, oh my god, there's like 300 messages, unread messages. No, I cannot. I have to go through
No.
all of that.
I know.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Me
It
and
too.
triggers
unsubscribe.
my OCD. It triggers my OCD whenever I
Yeah,
see too many unread.
and all those
Um,
marketing mails.
I think our school
so
doesn't trust
they
teachers
should
as
Trust
just
much
kind
teachers.
of.
registers.
Yeah, Pilar said, I think our school doesn't trust teachers much because there is no direct communication with parents regularly. If
It's
parents
terrible.
Oh,
first contact is the grade coordinator, it's kind of difficult.
Yeah,
Um,
yes.
it's also
our
difficult for the
protocol is like
parents as well.
teachers first.
Passing through a third party. It's
Yeah.
Yeah,
hard.
Not only that, like the parents, like again, we should never underestimate the intelligence of both our parents and our students. Because
Absolutely.
when they see something that is templated or sounds official, they know that it has gone through lots of scrubbing before it got to them.
yeah.
And it's not,
That's true.
and sometimes, honesty is the best policy always. Like,
hmm
uh,
Plus,
and
I don't think you
direct
should like
communication
go straight to the coordinator. Like, go to your teacher
at the
first.
time. Yeah.
Yes, that's
I
true.
have my bonus question though. And I think this bonus question is, did I put it in? I don't think I did.
Yes, I read it a while ago.
Yeah, there it is. How has
What's
designing
Your lesson.
um, how has designing for remote learning changed the way you will teach face to face?
Face
Because
to face.
we all know we're gonna get over this pandemic, so we'll go back to school, and that means, do you think that what has changed basically with the way that you do your lessons, and what will change with your face to face after this?
apparently you can have like a half day class or half day classes and you don't need to have 90-minute or 60-minute classes because if you just focus on the really important parts of the lesson, the concept basically,
Yes,
and the essential understanding and the questions, then you can have a really impactful lesson in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
that's
So
true.
instead of having a school from 8:30 to 3:30 or 8:30 to 4 p.m., kids can all go home by siguro 1:30, 2 p.m. And then the rest of the day we can work on or we can de-stress basically.
Yeah. Do you think that it has reduced a lot of the busy work that teachers are assigning?
Well, online
Depends.
class is just uh, something that's really challenging for now, but over time we'll get the hang of it, and then we'll find that balance really.
Yeah.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
I was
yeah,
saying like
Pilar.
time inside the classroom runs differently due to
Kids
kids
talking.
talking. That is true.
That's true. Yes.
Mm-mm.
There's a lot more, ideas, exchanging of ideas in the
Yeah,
classroom, a lot of collaboration. Unlike in the remote learning, they don't really get to talk to each other. So I really want to
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
try out the rooms, but knowing the skill level of my students, so they have to, we have to teach them one skill at a time. Like the other day,
Mm-hmm.
we met just to change the Gmeet link access. And
Mm-hmm.
so we said, because what happens is if we're using access from the Google Classroom, sometimes it's the student that becomes the host if they join so very early in class. Even if
Yeah.
the camera icon is invisible, but they have the old copy of the link, and they click that, they become the host. So we had an incident where the teacher got removed from the class. So the
Oh
student,
no.
yes, the student clicked removed. So the teacher cannot rejoin, and the student do not know how to add a teacher as well. So we met, and then we were talking about changing from uh, look up to calendar. But then our level decided not to do it right away because we know the skill of our kids. They get confused right away. And if we change towards the end of the term, that might mean another stress on their part. Where do I get the link? And then we will be
Right.
bombarded with all these messages in the morning. So sometimes after homeroom class, I would have PE class right away. And then sometimes they would send messages in our homeroom group chat. And I cannot help them because I'm having my class as well in PE. So I would tell them, okay, I will get back to you. Ask your subject teacher first how to join your class. Because
Mm.
if you know, if you introduce another thing at the top of the things that they are learning already, it
Right.
It's hard for
disrupts
them.
their
Yeah.
thinking. So we
Yeah.
said, let's just finish the term using
Mm.
the
Yeah.
Gmeet link from the Google Classroom, and then by term 2 we will introduce, okay, you will have to find the link here, because they were telling us to put the link in a topic, but some kids do not read. So
Yeah.
if they look for the link again, it would always go back to the teacher. Teacher, I cannot find the link. And then they would always ask the classmate to send the link to them. And what if the link sent was a wrong one? Diba?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it will create another problem, and it will branch out into a different kind of problem again. So we
Right.
said no. We will not change the access of Gmeet yet. Let's finish the term first.
I'm
So
kind of
those are the
confused about
struggles.
the issue, but I think we can talk about this offline later.
Yes, yes.
Because I should there should be a simple solution to it. I'm a subscriber to uh, easy solutions to complex problems.
I like that. We
The
should
hardest
adapt to
thing
that
to you know what they said, that's the hardest thing to think about is the easy solution to the complex problem.
problem.
I have an anecdote. Just give me a quick minute to give you the anecdote. In a factory, there was this machine that makes sure that everything works. One day, the machine broke down, so they called in an expert to fix the machine. So he listened to the machine. He went around the machine that was wrong. And then he took out a hammer and he struck one part of the machine. Just struck one part of the machine, and then suddenly the machine roared to life. And then when he gave the bill was $10,000. So the accounting said, like, can you just give us a breakdown of this? And then he said, okay. Striking the machine with the hammer, $1. Knowing where to strike,
Yeah.
9,900.
Right. Right. Yeah. I've
That's
I've
true.
read that
That's
as
true.
well.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
that's really pretty cool because nothing, like I said earlier, like trust yourself, teachers. You know your content.
Mhm.
You know your content
Yep.
best. And whenever you have a complex problem, just like distance yourself a little bit because maybe
Mhm.
there's an easy solution to it. So with that, guys, I'm just gonna. Do you have anything to add to this? Like, how was designing for remote learning changed the way that you would teach?
It just made
You
me
just have,
realize I miss my classroom.
yeah.
That's true.
I miss
Yes, the
my
real,
physical classroom. Yeah, because
Mhm.
like we do reading and writing, we do math, and I have anchor charts. So
Oh.
Mhm.
it's really it's a re. I know that some teachers like just display for the heck of it,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
as an IB teacher, one of the
Mhm.
things that is encouraged is using the classroom as the third teacher. And
Mhm.
everything
Yep.
that is posted has a purpose. And
yes,
Yep.
so,
that's true.
really being mindful of what you post so that it's not too noisy, not
Mhm.
visually
Mhm.
noisy.
Yes,
A
visually
good
distracting.
reminder, yeah, a good reminder for the students. So when we're doing writing, do you remember when we did this lesson? Like you point to, and
Yes,
it's a good reminder. It's right there. It reinforces their skill. Ah, yeah, I remember when we did this.
yes,
Yeah.
So that I miss that.
yes.
That's
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I don't know how to transfer that online.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
It's hard. It's
yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
So
It's a
Pilar was saying
challenge.
they're on mute and won't participate. Pilar said, "I think I'll value interaction in class way more."
Same
My kids
yeah,
here.
suffer
Same.
mute syndrome. They're on mute and
Mhm.
won't
Really.
participate as much as they could in person. That is true.
Yes.
absolutely, absolutely.
Mm-mm.
Absolutely.
Mm-mm.
Yesterday
Yeah.
during my class, when I would ask them questions and then they would reply in the chat, I would always say in my exasperated voice already, why do you
I
want to
miss your
talk to
voice.
me in a chat box? You can unmute
Yeah.
yourself and answer, Miss
Just
Riza. I would
unmute.
always tell them because I miss hearing their voices. I miss,
Right.
I miss kids asking me questions, clarifications, things like that. It's not anymore there. When they ask, it's usually about just the instruction, not about
That's true.
anymore what they like, what they really want. It's like they lost a part of themselves that's expressing what they really want.
Yeah.
It's just like they're going through the motions of being in your class, but
True.
not really, not really being there, not really being in the moment. So
Engaged. Right.
Yeah.
yes, not engaged at all. So, but I'm thankful I have this really one student who's really pushing the class to do challenges, and so everyone is really hyped. So I always
Mm-hmm.
tell this student of mine, thank you so much for encouraging your classmates, for really pushing and for really interacting with me. So the class is, even if they answer no in the chat box, they still participate. So
Okay.
things like that. But there's really one class that you really drag yourself into, guys, come on, let's do these things like that. So I miss, interacting, moving, and really challenging them, because even if you give challenges in this remote learning, some really do not want to join because privacy, first
Mm-hmm.
one, other one, accessibility. So
Mm-mm.
too many factors that's really affecting their
Mm-mm.
participation.
That's true. I miss the collective laughter most of all. I
Yeah.
miss it. I miss when I say something funny and then all of them would laugh. And it doesn't
Right.
happen at all in a meeting because they're on mute, so I don't know. I don't
Right.
know.
Right.
Yes.
It
So
just felt
even in the
louder.
Absolutely.
teachers meeting, teachers don't open their camera, so I don't like it.
Oh,
Like,
that's
Mhm.
true.
hello, it's time to talk, exchange ideas. So it feels like if you're doing that in our meeting, it feels it's just like you're like being one of the students in our class,
Yeah.
not trying to turn on the
Yeah.
camera and trying to engage. So it's
I have a
different
lesson
when you're
that
meeting
says
and you're
camera
not
on.
looking at each other.
I have like a sticker that I put in my slides. Like every time I do my activities online, like it says camera on. So okay, for this next activity, it's camera on. So they already know it.
Mm,
Like, at the beginning of my training, one of the house rules is that I take them
I'm
through the
going to
house
use
rules,
that camera on.
and that's one of my house rules. It's like before, your screens down. Uh, so I have my
yes.
screens down for certain activities. So now I have
Right.
my camera on. So this is a camera on activity where camera has to be on for this. You're not supposed to be, camera on, unmute. So you're
Yes.
supposed to be,
Ah.
I'm supposed to hear you. It's
Right.
fine if it's noisy. It's okay. Like I put that into the house rules at the beginning, so that when they see the slide, oh, okay, I have to
Okay.
unmute
Yeah.
and
That's so
Yes.
good. That's a great tip. Mine is
Yes, that's a
please
great
press
tip.
record. I keep on forgetting. Please press record. That's what I like.
yeah.
It's for me,
For
not for any.
yourself.
Yeah, it's for me.
There.
Please
So for
record.
Personal.
everybody who joined us this week, thank you so much once again, and for those
Thank
who participated
you.
in the chat,
Thank you,
we got
everyone.
some really
Thank
nice people who
you.
joined us on Twitter as well for this week. We have some new folks that joined us. We have Leon Croshaw. We have Andres joined us this week, who likes his GIFs there. So thank you so much for joining us once again, and we hope to see you again next week. Bye bye.
Thank you, Teacher
Thank you.
Rosel.
Bye.
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 Bye.